India's mega vaccination drive marks yet another milestone. 1 billion vaccines administered across the nation. We told you how it all began.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the world's biggest vaccination drive.
How we marked one milestone after another.
India will have nearly 120 million doses in June.
Catch all the latest updates on India's vaccine journey.
Biggest vaccination drive in the world, India today administered 1 billion vaccine doses.
India's mega vaccination drive, WION, continuing coverage.
It is a big day for India's vaccination drive. 9 months after launching the biggest vaccination programme in the world, India's reached 1 billion doses administered. This is India's live vaccination tracker. We are well over 1 billion now, as you can see. The country is marking the milestone in a number of ways. The national flag is being unfurled at Red Fort in the capital. Monuments across the country are being lit up and the achievements being announced at bus stops and villages. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated the country and said that India has scripted history. He's visited a government hospital in New Delhi and paid tribute to all the doctors, nurses and others who played their part.
नई दिल्ली में उसके एक वैक्सीनेशन सेंटर पर पहुंचे थे और वहां पर उन्होंने और किस तरह से इसमें इजाफा किया जा सकता है इसकी भी जानकारी ली।
आज 21 अक्टूबर 2021 का ये दिन इतिहास में दर्ज हो गया है। भारत ने अब से कुछ दूर पहले ही 100 करोड़ वैक्सीन डोज का आंकड़ा पार कर लिया है। मैं देश की वैक्सीन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनियां, वैक्सीन ट्रांसपोर्टेशन में जुड़े कर्मयोगियां, वैक्सीन लगाने में जुटे हेल्थ सेक्टर के प्रोफेशनल्स, सभी का खुले मन से, हृदय से बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करता हूं।
The World Health Organization is congratulating India for its efforts to protect vulnerable groups from COVID and for achieving vaccine equity targets. The country faced supply bottlenecks, storage challenges and some vaccine hesitancy in the initial period. India reaches 1 billion in just around 275 days. The first vaccine dose in India was administered on January the 16th. It took 85 days to touch the 100 million mark, and India crossed the 500 million level on August the 6th. 74% of India's adult population has received at least one dose. 31% are fully vaccinated, but there is still a long way to go. India is aiming to fully vaccinate its entire adult population by the end of this year, so an additional 900 million doses would have to be administered by the 31st of December. And for more, we can talk live to WION's principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, who is joining us from New Delhi. And Siddhant, a major milestone, no doubt, but that target of vaccinating the entire adult population by the end of this year, is that achievable on the current trajectory?
Well, if we go by the government optimism and estimates, they of course would like to make sure that this is achievable. But if we look at the meaning of this mark being breached, the threshold, the psychological mark being breach is a positive news not only for India but for the world as well, because it looks like that a good number of human population is heading towards vaccination, and it also reduces the vaccination hesitancy, because if 1 billion people can do so, then the entire world can do so. But largely, if you look at the international aspect to the entire development, we know that global leaders are congratulating the Israeli leadership, the Bhutanese leadership, the Maldivian leadership have congratulated India for it, and it also give boost to India's vaccine export. It was suspended, we know, when India was hit by the devastating second wave of COVID crisis in April, but it has been restarted, the vaccine export. Countries like Iran has been given vaccine. Countries like Nepal, Bangladesh are on the anvil. But largely, what events the Indian government is doing as enumerated. One thing I can point out, if you are in the city of Delhi, you can see billboards across the national capital talking about this threshold being breached, and of course announcements at various transportation hubs, including the railway station.
And looking even further ahead, Siddhant, I mean, some countries are already rolling out booster jabs because of concerns about vaccine effectiveness potentially waning a bit after 6 months or so. Is it too early to start talking about booster jabs in India? What is the plan for that?
Well, when it comes to the booster jabs, yes, it is too early in a sense that the Indian government right now is focusing on making sure that the entire adult population is vaccinated. That is the big target in front of the Indian government. Yes, booster doses also come, but also remember that before that, it is the vaccination of the children. That is the big focus. We know things are going on, but there has to be a full-fledged rollout, and that is much more delicate thing. But when it comes to India, we know logistics is something we are talking in billions, and it is something of a mammoth task, not only here in the national capital, Delhi, but also the far-flung areas of the country, border areas of the country, the deserts, Himalayas, coastal areas. We're talking about a continent that needs to be vaccinated, and that is why India achieving this milestone is a very, very positive news.
And Siddhant, just briefly, tell us about the economic impact of India moving ahead with its vaccination program so quickly.
Of course, there is an economic aspect in terms of the government spending a lot of money in vaccination, the logistics, and of course making sure that India produces more vaccines. But it is also beneficial for India in long term, in a sense that India is already a pharma hub. It is already known as the capital of pharmaceutical capital, and it helps in a natural progression for India to take a lead when it comes to medicines, when it comes to medical tourism, in which, of course, India is well known.
Siddhant, thank you very much indeed. Siddhant Sibal reporting live for us.